And I look forward to seeing what comes next, because finally, maybe we'll get some transparency and not just a bunch of pages that are mostly blacked out.
Oh, and it's horrible.
If wellness is
A
for
lot of
everyone,
blacked out pages.
why does it feel so overwhelming?
That's just horrible.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, the people that are looking at it are not people that are, I mean, they're qualified as in the Department of Justice, apparently. They're national security. They're in the captured Southern District of Florida office run by Jason Reading Quinones. They're in Jay Clayton's office in the Southern District of New York. They're offering them bounties of extra vacation time for putting in 3 to 4 hours a day to look at 1,000 pages or 1,000 documents. I mean, yeah, I've handled large, I don't know about, maybe million, millions and millions of documents. There's different ways. There's AI, there's databases, there's platforms, you bring in, you can't do it here, but you bring in, temporary lawyers and paralegals, and that type of thing. But it just shows a complete lack of good faith on the part of the Department of Justice, because they're not moving heaven and earth to make it happen. No. Nobody's properly managing this with any leadership abilities, because all those people have left the government. And so it's left with like if I was doing a large production when I was a younger lawyer, which is what you do when you're a younger lawyer in big firms, you'd sit down with a piece of paper and you'd be like, okay, where are all the potential locations for documents? Where would they be? And this is back when there were documents, not really even electronic. You can say, oh, in this office, about this matter, and this hard drive, and blah, 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 blah. But we all knew sitting here, there was a case against Ghislaine Maxwell. It had a football field worth of documents. Where are they? It took us to point that out, that there was a case that was being prepared by Maureen Comey, as you pointed out, for Epstein before he unalived himself, or whatever the phrase is. Where are they? There was a prosecution and an investigation in the Southern District of Florida. Where are they? There are IRS documents. There are Postal Service, Postal Inspector documents. There are subpoena response documents. There are FBI search warrant and execution of search warrant documents. I mean, you have like a spreadsheet, and you check who's doing this there. I mean, it's a complete brain dead organization. It's a dangerous combination. Lawless, immoral, unethical, and brain dead. That is a terrible law firm, by the way. The law firm of unethical, immoral, brain dead, and incompetent. And that's what we're watching. But I feel for the survivors. Lisa Phillips has joined to do regular work on Legal AF. She's one of the leaders of the Epstein survivor movement. And, there's another thing that Trump is worried about. Many states, including California, tomorrow open their window for filing civil lawsuits against predators and people who abused these women, now girls, now women, and the rest. California's got a 2-year window opening tomorrow, and I've heard on good authority that we're going to be shocked with some of the filings that may be coming out of the Epstein matter. Is Donald Trump continuing to cover up, as he told Marjorie Taylor Greene, for his quote unquote friends, so that they don't get sued? So that, and what I said in a recent hot take is, states like California should be extending their window to match every day that the Epstein files are delayed beyond December 19th, as ordered by the court. They want to play a game. They want to wait a month. Extend the deadline to file the lawsuit a month, and so on. 6 months, and match them. Because I'm sure that's on his mind, about protecting his people from getting sued, protecting the rich and powerful predators again by Donald Trump. So anyway, you and I and Midas and Legal AF will continue to follow those things. Everybody in our community, thank you for making 2025, despite all of it, because of all of it, such a successful result for Legal AF.
Have y'all had enough?
The millions of people that have come here. Legal AF YouTube channel is going to hit 500 million views of its work. The podcast, Legal AF, the podcast, regularly in the top 50, 75, 25 of various charts that matter. My new intersection podcast also bouncing around between 20 and 50 on YouTube.
Way to go. What is that? I don't know what that is, Rachel. Want to be director in chief. I call him the dictator and thief. Oh, that's what you put. Okay. Okay. It's up to you. I think hold on, let me see. Trump captured. Hold on. Oh, that's popcorn. Okay. Maybe my eyes are tired. What was Murdoch thinking? What was this? North Korea. Let's see. Okay, let this be the last one. North Korea, what they talking about? Yes, he is.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has inspected a new factory producing advanced rocket launchers. KCNA says Kim called the system a major step forward in firepower. The visit, reported by the Korean Central News Agency, comes just... North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has inspected a new factory producing advanced rocket launchers. KCNA says Kim called the system a major step forward in firepower. The visit, reported by the Korean Central News Agency, comes just hours after Pyongyang confirmed fresh cruise missile test fires. State media framed it as a signal of combat readiness. This is not an isolated event. It's part of a coordinated display of military capability that includes new rocket systems, strategic cruise missiles, and what state media describes as a nuclear-powered submarine. State media released images of what it claims is an 8,700-ton class nuclear-powered submarine under construction. For Pyongyang, this is about demonstrating deterrence. For Washington and Seoul, it's another reminder that North Korea's military capabilities continue to advance despite sanctions and international pressure. The timing is significant. These developments come ahead of a ruling Workers' Party Congress expected in early 2026, the first in 5 years. Analysts say the meeting could signal new policy directions, including North Korea's stance toward the United States and the future of stalled nuclear negotiations. According to KCNA, Kim described the new rocket launcher system as a super powerful weapon, capable of sudden, precise, and devastating strikes. He said the rockets would become the backbone of North Korea's offensive capability and would be deployed in large quantities during military operations. KCNA called it a main strike means. Analysts say that wording is often used to signal higher strategic importance. South Korean and Japanese media noted that KCNA described these multiple rocket launchers as potential strategic strike assets. Some outlets noted KCNA used strategic language. Outside experts say that can hint at dual-capable roles, but it cannot be independently verified. This framing elevates the new rocket launchers beyond conventional artillery in Pyongyang's narrative. It positions them as a key component of North Korea's broader deterrence strategy, at least according to state media. Images released by state media showed Kim touring a vast factory floor, standing beside large missile systems surrounded by propaganda slogans. The images show a large production floor. The scale suggests expanded output, though the true production rate cannot be independently verified. Kim was accompanied by senior figures from the country's missile program, signaling what Pyongyang describes as the strategic importance of the new weapon system. High-level attendance can signal priority, though Pyongyang does not publish formal program rankings. The images show large vehicles carrying what appear to be multiple rocket launcher systems, consistent with the type of heavy artillery that could deliver significant firepower. State media quoted Kim as saying the launchers could also serve as strategic strike assets, raising concerns among outside observers over their potential deployment. This language is notable. In North Korean military communications, the art strategic typically refers to weapons of higher importance, as opposed to tactical weapons designed for battlefield use. The inspection is part of a wider push by Kim to boost what Pyongyang calls counteroffensive capabilities, including recent tours of missile factories and weapons facilities. For South Korea and the United States, the development of such systems represents a potential concern. Heavy rocket artillery positioned near the demilitarized zone could inflict significant damage on Seoul and surrounding areas in the opening phases of any conflict. The ability to launch sudden strikes is what North Korea's stated military doctrine emphasizes. Overwhelming firepower designed to deter attack by making the cost of conflict high. North Korea carried out a cruise missile drill that KCNA described as linked to nuclear deterrence. According to KCNA, the launches were conducted on Sunday over the Yellow Sea, west of the Korean Peninsula, under the direct supervision of leader Kim Jong-un. The exercise was aimed at assessing what Pyongyang calls the combat capability and counter-offensive.
Please double tap the face of the screen to get the likes up for me, please. Can you hit the like button?
Readiness of long-range missiles.
It's double, if you have not already, double tap the face of your screen on your phone device. Just like this. And if not, there are 3 dots at the very top right corner. If you can hit those 3 dots, hit the thumbs up. I need it's 340 people in here. I need at least 100 people to hit that like button for me. I will wait. Only the ones who haven't already hit it. Ooh-wee. I mean, it has been nothing but mess with this man, Lord. And then on top of that, you want to punish people for breaking the law, but you were messing with minors. Oh my God, y'all! Oh come on.
Units.
Look like
This
only
framing
about
positions
3
the
or 4
test as
people hit it. Double tap the face of your screen like this on your phone. If you have not already done so, if not, hit the 3 dots at the top right corner and hit the like button. The quicker we can get it done, the quicker I can move forward. I'm rubbing my magnesium, getting ready for bed, baby. Once this magnesium is on, I'm going to be knocked out. So y'all come on. Tap, 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 tap. Come on, about 30 more. And we'll be ready to go. 30 more.
a verification of North Korea's ability to respond to threats rather than
Restaurant store.
30.
That's not it. Hold on.
But now, as I said, the big development this moment is that the vice president of Venezuela, Delcy
That's
Rodriguez.
not it. I think I made it.
But now, as I
disappear.
said, the big development.
Hold on. I don't know what I did. I thought I made it disappear. Because I didn't hit the like.
communications, the strategic
Get those
typically
passports
refers to
ready.
weapons of higher importance
I totally
as
agree.
opposed to tactical weapons designed for
I need for
battlefield
y'all to
use.
double tap.
The inspection is part of a wider push by Kim to boost what Pyongyang calls counteroffensive capabilities, including recent tours of missile factories and weapons facilities. For South Korea and the United States, the development of such systems represents a potential concern. Heavy rocket artillery positioned near the demilitarized zone could inflict significant damage on Seoul and surrounding areas in the opening phases of any conflict. The ability to launch sudden strikes is what North Korea's stated military doctrine emphasizes. Overwhelming firepower designed to deter attack by making the cost of conflict high. North Korea carried out a cruise missile drill that KCNA described as linked to nuclear deterrence. According to KCNA, the launches were conducted on Sunday over the Yellow Sea, west of the Korean Peninsula, under the direct supervision of leader Kim Jong-un. The exercise was aimed at assessing what Pyongyang calls the combat capability and counteroffensive.
Yep.
This is what would happen to your body if you ate mood sleep gummies every day. Day 1, you take your
readiness of long-range missile units. This framing positions the test as defensive, a verification of North Korea's ability to respond to threats rather than an aggressive act, according to state media. But for South Korea and the United States, any expansion of North Korea's missile capabilities represents a potential concern, regardless of how Pyongyang characterizes the purpose. KCNA claimed the missiles flew for over 2 hours and hit their targets. A 2-hour flight, if accurate, could indicate a long-range profile, but exact range depends on speed and route and cannot be confirmed from KCNA alone. State media released footage showing the missiles being launched and impacting targets, underscoring what officials described as the reliability of the weapon system. The images showed missiles rising from their launchers and traveling across the water before striking what appeared to be maritime targets. Kim Jong-un expressed great satisfaction with the results of the drill, according to KCNA, and reiterated his commitment to the unlimited and sustained development of North Korea's nuclear combat forces. This language, unlimited and sustained, signals that Pyongyang has no intention of slowing its weapons development regardless of international pressure. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff confirmed the launches, saying it detected multiple cruise missiles fired at around 8 a.m. local time from the Sunan area near Pyongyang. The South Korean military said it remains on heightened alert and is closely coordinating with the United States to monitor developments and respond to any potential provocations. This coordination between Seoul and Washington is standard practice following North Korean missile tests. Both countries maintain extensive surveillance capabilities focused on the Korean Peninsula. The detection from the Sunan area near Pyongyang's international airport and a known military facility is consistent with previous cruise missile launches. South Korea's response emphasized readiness and vigilance. the standard messaging following North Korean weapons tests. Pyongyang framed the missile test as a defensive measure. KCNA said Kim emphasized that verifying the reliability of the country's nuclear deterrent was a legitimate exercise of its right to self-defense and war deterrence. This framing is consistent with North Korea's long-standing position. Its weapons programs are responses to external threats, not provocations. The comments were reported by Agence France Presse, which noted that North Korea often portrays weapons tests as reactions to joint U.S.-South Korea military activities. From Pyongyang's perspective, the ongoing military exercises between the United States and South Korea, which occur multiple times per year, represent rehearsals for an invasion. North Korea views its nuclear and missile programs as the only reliable guarantee against what it perceives as an existential threat. The cruise missile test follows another significant development. State media released images of what it claims is an 8,700-ton class nuclear-powered submarine under construction. Recent state images show a large hull that outside analysts describe as significant progress, though key details remain unverified. This marks one of the first times Pyongyang has publicly shown images of the vessel since announcing its nuclear submarine ambitions in 2021. According to KCNA, leader Kim Jong-un said the submarine would strengthen the country's ability to respond to what he called an increasingly hostile security environment. The displacement figure claimed by state media, if accurate, would make this a substantial vessel. But independent verification of the submarine specifications is not possible from images alone. The images show a sail integrated into a raised turtleback structure, a design feature that analysts say could potentially house missile launch tubes. Analysts looking at the images say they appear to show features consistent with sonar equipment and torpedo tubes. The turtleback design is consistent with submarines intended to carry submarine-launched ballistic missiles or cruise missiles, the type of platform that could potentially threaten targets at long range. North Korea operates one of the world's largest submarine fleets by number of hulls, according to multiple defense assessments, primarily consisting of small coastal submarines of limited capability. But in recent years, Pyongyang has worked to upgrade its undersea capabilities. That includes what it described as its first ballistic missile submarine around 2017, a cruise missile submarine unveiled in 2023, and what state media called a nuclear-armed unmanned underwater drone tested from April 2023. U.S. analysts assess that these submarine programs may be intended to pave the way for a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, providing Pyongyang with what strategists call a survivable second strike capability. This
Gut health shouldn't be this complicated. At California Gold Nutrition, we offer premium probiotics at a digestible price. California Gold Nutrition. Shop now at iHerb.com.
This is how unrecognized high IQ looks in children. Constant overthinking. High IQ minds analyze everything. Bored by simple tasks. They feel mentally unstimulated. Always thinking, rarely taking action. Their body is still, but their mind is racing. Struggle to start pointless tasks. They avoid inefficient or illogical tasks. Hyper-focus only on personal interests. When they care, they obsess. Feeling misunderstood.
concept is central to nuclear deterrence theory. A first strike refers to an attack intended to destroy an adversary's nuclear forces before they can be used. A second strike capability is the ability to absorb such an attack and still retaliate with devastating force. For the United States, this raises concerns. A North Korean nuclear submarine, if successfully developed and deployed, could potentially survive even a successful first strike on the country's land-based forces. Unlike diesel submarines, nuclear-powered submarines can remain submerged for extended periods, allowing them to operate far from their home ports. Submarine-launched missiles can approach from unexpected directions, including potential strike paths that could complicate existing missile defense architectures. This concern is magnified by North Korea's reported work on hypersonic-type systems. U.S. and regional analysts say North Korea has tested hypersonic-type systems. Operational status remains unclear. U.S. defense officials have expressed concern that such technology could allow future submarine-launched missiles to complicate existing air and missile defenses. The combination of a nuclear-powered submarine, long-range missiles, and advanced delivery systems represents a potential threat that U.S. defense planners take seriously if the programs prove successful. Kim condemned South Korea's parallel submarine plans, labeling them an offensive act that North Korea must counter. South Korean outlets and officials say Seoul is pursuing talks with Washington on nuclear submarine cooperation. A government-wide task force was launched last week, and South Korea's National Security Advisor Wee Sung-lak said discussions are underway with the United States. Seoul says it is discussing a framework with Washington related to nuclear submarine cooperation. Specific fuel arrangements have not been publicly confirmed. This development, which Kim Jong-un described as an offensive act that violates North Korea's security and maritime sovereignty, reflects the ongoing arms competition on the Korean peninsula. South Korea has long sought nuclear submarines as a deterrent against North Korea's expanding capabilities. The push by Seoul aligns with broader U.S. efforts to encourage allies to take greater responsibility for their own defense. This policy, sometimes described as burden sharing, has been a consistent theme in U.S. foreign policy, particularly under the Trump administration. For South Korea, nuclear submarines would provide a more robust deterrent against North Korea, reducing dependence on U.S. protection while demonstrating independent military capability. North Korea, South Korean nuclear submarines represent another threat that must be countered, justifying continued expansion of its own submarine fleet, according to Pyongyang.